With the big telephone company, for caller ID, call blocking, call forwarding, call waiting, and three-way calling, you can end up paying almost $50 a month for all that. But with Rev Voice, you get all those features for free.
The police commissioner admits everyone could have done more in the crime fight in 2015. The national security minister dubs the Christie administration the most progressive government ever. Former BEC Executive Chairman Leslie Miller hits out at government's new deal with Power Secure. Plus, government announces new import regulations for poultry products. We've got those stories and a lot more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and MB12 starts right now. Top news tonight as he presented the Royal Bahamas Police Force Crime Report for 2015. Police Commissioner Ellison Greenslade admitted that everyone could have done more in terms of controlling crime in 2015 as the murder count peaked at 146. Greenslade said in 2016, police will continue to target those who traffic and possess illegal firearms, as well as those who peddle illegal drugs, are involved in gangs, commit murder, and other crimes. Simone Davis has the details.
Greenslade said after witnessing the high level of murders, which peaked at 146 last year, amongst other crimes, the crime level in the country is just unacceptable. And in his policing plan for 2016, Greenslade said he would be more focused on the prevention and detection of crime, restoring public confidence in police, and reducing the fear of crime in the country.
The current levels of crime are unacceptable. I'm going to repeat it. Current levels of crime are unacceptable. Reports of current crime levels can have far-reaching implications for our tourism industry. The policing priorities, ladies and gentlemen, for 2016 will remain: 1, the prevention and detection of crime; 2, reducing the fear of crime; 3, restoring and maintaining public trust and confidence; 4, the safety and security of the public; 5, working with our young people; 6, the protection of the tourist industry; and 7, the efficient management of resources.
The national reported crimes in New Providence totaled to 6,912 for 2015 compared to 7,183 in 2014. Under crimes against persons, the murder count stood at 126, followed by attempted murders at 17 and 2 cases of manslaughter. There were 75 reported cases of rape, 13 attempted rapes, 90 reported cases of unlawful sexual intercourse, 931 cases of armed robbery, 192 cases of robbery, and 11 reported cases of attempted robbery. Other crimes that ranged in high numbers were stealing from vehicles at 2,113 and stolen vehicles at 908. The number of crimes committed in Grand Bahama and the Family Islands were just below 1,000, with house break-ins being the most alarming, as 246 cases of house break-ins occurred in Grand Bahama and 241 cases in the Family Islands. Greenslade said though reductions were seen in a number of categories of serious crime during 2015, crime figures are still much too high, and the only way to get a grip on these issues immediately is to implement high-visibility policing.
Reductions were seen in a number of categories of serious crimes in 2015. However, crime figures are much too high, still much too high, and there remains a high level of public concern over the record number of murders committed in 2015. Closely allied with this concern is the fact that over 79% of murders committed in 2015 were committed with an illegal firearm. This is against a backdrop where firearms are illegal in the Bahamas. As a result, I have determined that efforts to reduce gun violence, the reduction of crime, and the reduction of the fear of crime will remain the principal priorities for 2016.
The crime report noted that the areas with the most crimes in New Providence in 2015 were central, northeastern, southern, and south central New Providence, and most murders were a result of retaliation. It's reported that 34 murders were a form of retaliation, 13 were a result of robbery, 17 were caused by domestic violence, 9 were drug-related, 12 murders were gang-related, 26 were a result of conflict, and 35 murders were undetermined. 115 people were killed by firearm last year, 12 were killed by knives, 7 were unknown, and 12 were classified as other. Of the murdered victims in 2015, 130 were males and 16 were females. Greenslade reported that 67 of the 146 murders were solved and 11 were unsolved. He said the policing plan would be the subject of continuous review during 2016 so that strategic objectives can be evaluated, modified, or extended.
I'm also concerned that the present high level of crime are a reflection of our failure to give serious attention to tackling the root causes of crime. There is no discounting the adverse effects that illegal drugs, the abuse of alcohol, gangs, teenage pregnancy, disengaged young adults, and other social maladies have had on our country. Despite our willingness and ability as a law enforcement agency to play our role effectively, we are aware, patently aware, that we have to work together with all sectors of our society if we are to achieve any meaningful success in reducing crime. We must adopt a multi-sectoral approach to fighting crime in partnership with the communities of the Bahamas. We must engage stakeholders and our citizens at large as we understand the collective will, influence, and the power of engaging all of our people.
The Commissioner of Police also noted that more than 8,000 weapons and ammunition were retrieved last year, and drugs were also a major issue in 2015 as police dealt with more than 1,000 cases of drugs that were found in New Providence, Grand Bahama, and the Family Islands, and 1,200 people were charged. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
This Christie administration is the most progressive government the Bahamas has ever seen, according to National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage. Speaking with NB12 outside of Parliament today, Nottage defended the government's handling of several issues, including national health insurance and crime. He said, frankly, it's in the best interest of the country that the party be re-elected. Kyle Joaquin reports.
Despite all of the criticism being hurled at the government, National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Nottage was pretty straight up with the media today, running to the defense of the Christie administration, calling it the most progressive government in this country's history.
I think that this government has been the most progressive government that the country has ever had. When you look at the policies that are being followed and the transformational value of those policies.
The National Security Minister said when it comes to carrying out the government's policies and finding ways to make life better for Bahamians, the National Security Minister said when it comes to carrying out the government's policies and finding ways to make life better for Bahamians, he's been doing that. Some, particularly those within the opposition and the Democratic National Alliance, have called the current Christie administration the worst the country's ever seen, citing the implementation of value-added tax, the high crime rate, transparency, and a list of other issues. But on the other hand, there have been things that could be considered accomplishments for the government, like attracting the international sporting community to the Bahamas, as the country has played host to the IAAF World Relays 2 years in a row, and its relatively aggressive stance on immigration. But when it comes to crime, Nottage has been criticized for his efforts.
You know, we all come to office and we want to do the very best for people, but these issues just keep coming up. No matter how well you do, there are always things that you can do better. So, you know, you can't look at your political performance on the basis of a single act.
Nottage cited the government's plans for national health insurance as another one of the things government should be celebrated for. He also acknowledged what he and the government could work on.
Reduce crime, prevent crime, create jobs, have a better system of education and better results, and they never change. That it was the same 30 years ago as it is today.
Nottage said it's in the best interest of the country that people re-elect the PLP.
But what I can tell you is that the PLP has a package of policies which are best for the people. And if the people want what is best for them, I think that they will support the PLP.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Former BEC Executive Chairman Leslie Miller today blasted the new management agreement between Bahamas Power and Light and Power Secure. Miller told NB12 that Power Secure was the company he brought in numerous times whenever BEC experienced major transmission issues. But the government bringing in Power Secure to manage the company, even after the old board of directors was reportedly getting things under control, goes against the slogan by which the PLP was elected, believing in Bahamians.
But I see everybody now, jumping up and down about this situation with them. They're getting, $2 million flat fee. They can go up to $5-6 million. And a lot of the plan what they're using are the plan that we formulated with them. So there's a whole lot of things that I just leave it here for the time being. I don't know why we continue to say that we believe in Bahamians and you always bring in the foreigners.
While BEC General Manager Kevin Baisden was reassigned, Miller was removed from the corporation altogether and sent to the Water and Sewage Corporation. During the management services agreement signing on Monday, Power Secure provided no specifics on its plan to reform BEC. Miller said it's sad that government had to have the North Carolina-based company take over management based on its business plan when the plan he and his former board had was just as good.
And that's the problem I face. But, it is what it is. I mean, I'm only the port cake. Who the hell can listen to me anyhow? But I tell you what, the plan we had was as good as the plan they got. Because we had a plan from A to Z. With fuel, we were getting cheaper fuel. We were getting a 7 to 10 year contract on fuel for the future of around $35 a barrel. So we were taking care of that. We said we were going to put a new engine that was going to save us at least $100 to $120 million a year. But nobody listened to us. But they can listen to the other brothers. You must empower your people. It can't be rhetoric. People ain't stupid no more. You got to empower them that we could look for our future. You see? And that's what we got to do. We got to be able to direct the future of our country as a people. We don't need no foreigners to tell me what the future should be.
The president of the Bahamas Electrical Managerial Union is the latest person to raise questions about Power Secure's lack of a business plan for the way forward at Bahamas Power and Light, formerly known as the Bahamas Electricity Corporation. Clinton Minnis noted he's particularly interested in any potential workforce reduction, although he said layoffs are not a big concern to the union.
I'm concerned about anybody who is paid money and cannot account for why they're being paid. Anybody. And if you're coming into a new labor market, the integrity of process and your name, your reputation is very important to you coming into a new market. So I expect there to be a plan. $1 million is a lot of money. So I am thinking that they should have a plan. They may just have a challenge releasing the plan. I don't know how welcoming the plan is. I don't know what it says, but I think $1 million is plenty money to not disclose what you have done for that money.
As part of a transitional agreement signed back in July, Power Secure was expected to complete a business plan within 60 days and present it to Cabinet. The agreement cost government $900,000. But this past Monday, Utility Infrastructure President Ronnie Brannan admitted the firm has only submitted a 90-day draft plan. He told reporters that as the company also signed a 5-year management services agreement to run Bahamas Power and Light, worth $25 million. Minnis said government hasn't been as forthcoming as the union would like, and it wants to analyze both agreements so it can see who's talking sense.
I am concerned that the government has not been forthcoming with the transition service agreement, the management service agreement, nor the business plan, so that we will know whether BPL, Power Secure, is talking sense or the government talking fool. Okay? See, this society now, we have upgraded. We have a little more sense now, you see? And so we want to see the black and white. We want to make informed decision to help our people make the best decision.
Brannon also told reporters on Monday when it comes to job losses, Power Secure remains open-minded. He said at this part of the business plan, there could be a potential reduction in the workforce, but if there is, they'd look at a voluntary process. Minnis said although he'd like all of the agreements and information in front of him so he can personally see what's being said, he trusts government's word that there will not be any forced redundancies, so layoffs are not a chief concern to the union. And if it comes to any voluntary separation packages, Minnis called on Power Secure to sweeten the pot.
The Deputy Prime Minister indicated, and the Prime Minister said to us, listen, I don't want nobody, this is what he said to myself and Mr. Maynard, saying that the Prime Minister won't put them on the streets. The Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, they are clear on the mandate that they've given. There will be no forced separation. There will be voluntary separation from the corporation for those who are ready to go. We have persons who have been asking us, when you're going to have this deal? Is Power Secure coming to sweeten the pot? So when you have voluntary separation, it is not a redundancy issue. You understand? And it's not a job loss, per se, because you volunteered to separate yourself.
You're watching the best in Bahamian news. There's more when MB12 returns.